Hello, my friends. This video is designed to introduce you to the Sharepoint site for the Liberal Arts Transfer SMT or LAT-SMT program. Consider this your training for the Sharepoint site. The Sharepoint site was designed with the intent to accomplish two main things. One, to be a one-stop shop where students would have access to information. There's some information that is found directly on the website, and then there's also information that students can get to via the links that are provided on the Sharepoint site. Note that only enrolled students or admitted students, I should say, have access to the Sharepoint site because it's in the intranet. Students who have not yet enrolled at Madison College or been accepted will not have access to the Sharepoint site. The second goal of the Sharepoint site is to provide students with the ability to request a session with an advisor, and for me to assign the appropriate advisor to the students based on their intended majors. Please understand that this site is a work in progress. I am going to rely on your feedback, suggestions, critiques, etc., so that as a group we can build this site into the most useful Sharepoint site for advising LAT-SMT students. So this site is currently in what I'd call the testing phase, because what I'm going to ask you to do is to test the site as a student and also as an advisor. The site has a student-facing side and an advising-facing side. You're looking at the student-facing side, so this is what a student would see. Under helpful information, we have various links that I commonly, these are links to websites that students are going to commonly use. For example, transferology, which students can use to determine how courses transfer out or into Madison College. This is a link to the Liberal Arts Transfer SMT website, where students have a description of the program, the curriculum, and links to all of the classes that they can take as part of the program. Major Mania is a site where students can identify all the UW and Wisconsin technical colleges that offer their major. And then on the private college side in Wisconsin, the Wisconsin private colleges, they can go to that website and see which private colleges offer the majors that they have an interest in. And then lastly, I have a link here the students can use to, if they're interested in a particular major and they're just interested in, well, what kind of jobs are out there for someone who majors in statistics or something, that site can be useful, right? And we can add other sites to this list that we think are very relevant for our students. Below this, I have the newsletter that I send out to students every month. Right now I have my drop-in hours, or at least what were my online drop-in hours for advising and during the fall. This is going to change for the spring, and I'll be editing that. And then we have the opportunity to put important dates here for students. Down here I just have not all, but most of the advisors listed here. I don't have, I just have the basic information, our name and our and a description of our positions, and that's pretty much it. We can flesh this out and add as much or as little as we like. I'd be interested in learning what more you would want added to this portion of the site. And then scrolling back up, I mentioned that the site can be used by students to request a initial advising session with an advisor, and that's what this button is about. So what I'm hoping is to get students to come to the site not only for information but to request a meeting with an advisor. And so If a student comes here and they've never met with any of us and they want to meet with an advisor for the first time, they click on here, and then I've set this form up to provide all the information that I believe an advisor will need to prepare for the first advising session. So the student will put in their email address, and it has to be a Madison College email address, or it won't work. So I'm going to put in mine, and that put in their student ID number, so you can look up their academic history. They can put in when they want a transfer date. That's important for advising, where they want their first choice for a transfer institution, second if they know it, and even third if they know it, though for second and third is not required. Area study that they want to transfer in, let's say biological science, and let's say they want to do environmental science. And then some other information like the work 20 hours per week. This is important for you to know as advisors, so you know how many you don't suggest that they take too many credits per semester. Let's say they didn't take a foreign language. And for the purposes of being able to figure out when to schedule a advising session that works for both your schedule and the student's schedule, we ask the student to provide when they're available. Let's say Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, from 9 to noon, and then the student submits. Okay, so this is what the student sees. Let's go to the advising side of things to see what the advisor would see. And please tell me that went through. Let me refresh. All right, yay, it went through. Okay, so I would get an email when the student submitted a request to meet with an advisor, and I would come here and I'd see it under new requests for student advising, and I could click on here, and I would basically look through to see what the student was interested in. I see, the student is interested in biological science, environmental science, and Robert Lovely would be a great advisor for the student. So then I could come down here and I'd say new. We're going to put that to assigned, and I'll put in the advisor's email address. Alrighty. And then I would go and send Rob an email telling him that student Chuck Benton just submitted a request. They're in environmental science, and can you advise them? And if Rob said, yes, I can, then I'd be like, great. And then Rob would come here, and then he could click here, look through. He'd have his contact information, his ID, so he can look up and see what courses has he already taken, what courses is he currently taken. You can see what institutions he plans to transfer, and all the other information that he entered. There are various fields here that do not appear on the form, but they are editable, so that can be entered if you so desire to do that. And let's say Rob wasn't able to meet with the student, then I could always come back and change this to my name, or if I could find someone else, etc., etc. But let's say Rob's able to meet with the student, and so Rob would check that, and then that student would go to active students with assigned advisor, or I could hit that button. We can figure out how we want to do this, but you can go here, and so now we have a student with an assigned advisor. Also down here we have an activity log with notes. And I'm trying to look now. I'm sort of new to this, but I'm trying to find the location where it has when the student can meet. It's supposed to have here. Oh, you know what? I know where that is. Come down here under activity log and notes. Initial advising request. There's the student ID, and that's how you're going to be able to keep up with the student by their student ID. Okay, let's try that again, hopefully without the technical difficulty. All right, so we click on that and you can see that the preferred days are Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 9 a.m. to noon. So then Rob could sort of look at his schedule. He knows when the student is available and then reach out to the student by email and say, hey, I can meet on Wednesday from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, right? And then that's how this information can be used to for you to schedule a time to meet with the students, right? And then from here, what you can do is as you complete the course plan for the student, that spreadsheet that I provided you, you can attach that to their record. You can attach it here, or if you met with the student, you can actually, what you'd want when you meet with the student, you'd want to add an item, right? That you see, student, I should say advising, and then you select the student's ID, and then you can attach any document that you completed for this with the student during that session and save here. Okay, and then it should be here somewhere. I need to play around with this a little bit. Okay, that's not it. Oh, anyway, I think you sort of get the idea. Oh, here it is, advising session right here. Okay, so what I would ask you to do is play around with this a little bit. Go and to the student side of things. If I can get to the student, all right, to the student side of things, and play the student entering the information, and then go over to the advising side, and just sort of play around and see how this SharePoint site is set up. Get to become sort of familiar with it, and then let's develop this site together. So thank you very much. And I look forward to working with you and developing the site and really making a positive impact on students in the Liberal Arts Transfer Science, Math, and Technology program.